Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a tank versus tank. We are going to look at the SU-130PM versus the Skorpion G, and we're going to decide what the difference is between both tanks and which tank I prefer and which tank I would recommend for you guys to buy when the time is right, when the tanks are for sale. So first up, they are both nice tanks. We're watching the SU-130 here. They are both very, very nice tanks. I would also say that they are both sort of sniping tanks. They've got no armor. Both tanks have literally no armor. So they have pretty decent DPM. I mean, it's not the best DPM, but it's DPM that works. So playing in this kind of position is definitely a must. Get that damage out, get the team down, get their hit points down, and then later on in the game, you can just sort of clear up. And that's what we're going to watch here in this game. He's going to do just that. And we're going to see two great games in both of these tanks. And then hopefully watching both of these games will help you decide in the future which one of these tanks you prefer, or even if you prefer to get both of these tanks. But a lot of people out there obviously can't afford to just go out and keep buying tanks. Every now and again they may have the opportunity to buy a tank, but only one tank, and they might like the idea of the Skorpion G, or they might like the idea of the SU-130PM. And this is where I am here to help those decisions along the way. Now, some of you know that the Skorpion G was actually my favorite premium tank in the game for a very, very long time, and that was even before the SU-130PM was entered into the game. So has my mind changed? I mean, it's not my favorite premium tank now. There are a few other premium tanks out there that I prefer. But has my decision, or has my mind changed from since the SU-130PM was added to the game? So we can see here now it's a 2 versus 3. Our SU-130PM doesn't quite want to rush yet, because they are down on tanks. He's done a pretty decent game so far, and his last remaining teammate is a one-shot. So he really, really wants to clear this T69. It is the medium tank. There is also a light tank around here somewhere, which is the Bulldog. So he needs to now clear this T69, but he doesn't want to do so. He doesn't want to lose many hit points trying to go for these guys, but he has to go. And as you can see, he's getting shot from the left, the right, and he bounces that shot on the T69, which is so unfortunate. Now, I wasn't quite sure what he was doing here in going for the Bulldog, but he does take care of him, and his guy does take care of the T69. So now it is a TD versus 2 tanks. Now both of these tanks are a one-shot, and the last remaining TD is, I think, full hit points. So there's a lot of work to do. Now the best thing about both of these tanks is the speed. The speeds are very, very good. I love the speed on both of these tanks. Now the SU-130PM is a little bit lower to the ground than the Skorpion G. As you can see, it is quite a small tank. It is quite a low tank, but the Skorpion G is actually quite a tall tank. So that is the difference. I mean, the SU is able to hide in certain positions that the Skorpion can't, because of obviously the size of the tank. But they still both perform really, really well. There goes the Leo. The Chi 2 SPG is full hit points, and now he has to try and not get spotted. You can see he's using the rock to the right. He's using the bush to try and get that shot off and hopefully not get spotted, and he was able to do that. He does take the shot, and he's not spotted in doing so. So he has to be very careful at this point. If I was the Chi 2, I would definitely, you have to rush. At this point, he's a one-shot. You have to rush, but you don't want to take too many shots when you are rushing. And that is the best thing about, or that is another good thing about both of these tanks. It is the speed. The gun depressions, I mean, is not the greatest, but the gun on both of these tanks is absolutely amazing. It really is good. The reload is not bad at all as well, at 11, just over 11 seconds. And they can perform really well. They can both perform really well. Now, that was a nice miss there. Now he's just going to use the rock. He's going to use the mobility. Now, unfortunately, the turret, the gun doesn't turn all the way around, which if it did, I think it would be... If this gun turned like all the way around, it would be such a good tank. But look at that speed. He is able to get to the side of the Chi 2, and at this point he doesn't even need the gun to turn all the way around. It turns just enough, and he is now going to clear this guy. So actually a really good game there in the SU. It just showcases the best way to play this tank, and that is to sort of be an effective sniper and then sort of get into the game a bit later on to clear up those enemy tanks. So 5,800 damage there. It's quite low XP actually, 1,300. That was quite low XP, but of course he was sniping for the majority of that game, so he wasn't going to spot anything. And he wasn't going to get any assistance and so on. So next up, the Skorpion G. The Skorpion G is still one of my go-to tanks, especially in a stream. I love playing this tank, even not in stream. Sort of, it is one of my go-to tier 8 tanks. It's really good. It really is good. The accuracy is really good. The speed is really good. The gun is insane. Is it better than the SU-130PM? Honestly, I still prefer the Skorpion G over the SU. I mean, we're going to look at the stats after this game. Of course, one of them is German, one of them is Russian. This is German and the SU is Russian. So the SU is basically a Russian Skorpion. They are very similar, very similar. The guns are a little bit different, but as I've said, we're going to watch this game and then we're going to get to the stats after this. So, Black Goldville, his team have decided to go to the town whilst 2 medium tanks have gone up. And seeing that he hasn't spotted anyone around here, I'm kind of thinking that the 2 medium tanks are not going to last very long up there. The Chimera doesn't have great DPM, and of course the other tank there is not the greatest to deal with 7 tanks. But that's perfect for our guy in the Skorpion G, because he's now able to get some side shots. A beautiful HE shot there, 641 HE shot. There goes the Chimera, and I'm sure the other medium tank is going to be gone. There we go, he goes as well. So that's 2 tanks down in a minute and a half. So yeah, this team needs to start pulling something out, and because there goes the medium. And already, I mean, 2 minutes gone and it's a 7 versus 5. Not the best situation that you want to be in. Now the Tiger 2 is pushing forward, and he is going to open some enemy of some of the enemy tanks up. So the Hori now is a perfect choice to go for. Of course, he is a one shot if we can at least average roll. So he's just going to wait. He's not spotted at the moment. Now, considering the Tiger 2 is spotted, I mean, waiting here is the best option, because some of the team, I'm assuming because of that Tiger is spotted, some of the team are going to backtrack towards the enemy spawn to try and deal with that Tiger. Now, again, nice RNG there. Nice little fire on the KV4. And he's now, as expected, the team are still there. They're not flanking through the town. They are waiting, and I think they was actually expecting the green team to start going all the way up to the caves. But we're not going to do that. The Tiger 2 is basically being used as bait. He is baiting all of these red team. You can see 4 up there now. There goes the Hori. So fair play to this Tiger. The Tiger 2, he hasn't pushed so far. He's pushed just enough to spot the team. He's pushed just enough to get spotted, and that allows the red team, or that makes the red team sort of turn back and go for this Tiger 2. So fair play to this Tiger 2. He's actually playing this perfectly. He's pushed just as much as he needs, and he's not looking at YOLOing straight up to the caves. Now 2 tanks have now been spotted, and you can see the Tiger 2 is still taking out these guys, and now would probably be a good time for that Tiger 2 to start going towards the caves, because I mean, they've equaled it out now. It is a 5 versus 5. The Tiger P is found himself in the open in the middle of the map, and this is where the green team just literally pounce on him, and he doesn't last very long. And the T-44 excuse me, the T-44 is next on the list. So actually they performed really well. The Tiger 2 performed really well. They pushed at the right time. They didn't push What a beautiful shot. What a beautiful RNG there for our guy, Nub Null. So, nice full hit point Amarak. He's using the HE wisely. That was an unfortunate splash there on the Chimera, but his damage is now up to 4.7k. There goes the Tiger 2. He's just going to wait to see if he can get this shot on the Chimera, and he can. Nice shot there, bringing that guy down to a one shot. Now, as I've said, both of these tanks are best played at the back of the map, not getting shot, because you can be HE'd from anywhere. Basically, anywhere on these tanks, you can be HE. So even though you've got 1200 hit points, they can just disappear in a matter of seconds if someone switches to HE. I mean, if this Annihilator switches to HE, he can almost kill him with the 3 shells. You have Borziks, you have ISU 152s, even tier 7, the smashers and stuff like that. They can almost clear you with 1 shell. So you've got to bear that in mind. Even if you are full hit points, it doesn't mean that you can just go full YOLO mode and just try and get the damage, because it won't work. You will lose that hit points until you need to, like this kind of moment when the SU is a one shot. Then yeah, as I've said, use your hit points wisely, save your hit points until you need to, do some damage from distance, and then rush in using that speed later on in the game, and it does pay off. So 6,100 damage there and a nice amount of credit. So thank you guys for sending me those replays in. And now we are going to look at the stats and just compare the stats and decide, actually, even on paper, what is the best of tanks. So the DPM goes in the favor of the Skorpion G by nearly 200 actually, which is quite a big difference. It might not sound a lot, but it is quite a big difference. The penetration goes into the favor of the Skorpion as well, just about, literally by 1. The alpha is the same at 460. The rate of fire just in the favor of the Skorpion G. The shell velocity better for the SU-130PM. Obviously the Skorpion G is the 128mm, whilst the SU is 130mm. But the biggest thing for me, the biggest selling point for me for the Skorpion G is that aim time and is that gun dispersion. Nevertheless, the SU, that is still good aim time and that is still good gun dispersion, but 1.72 aim time and 0.29 gun dispersion for a TD is very, very good. Also, it does have 6 degrees of gun depression, whereas the SU-130PM as 7 degrees. But also the biggest seller point here is the aiming arc, the gun arc, 180 degrees for the Skorpion G, whilst the SU only has 70. And of course the speed goes in the favor of the Skorpion G as well. So just looking at the stats there, on paper, the Skorpion G wins all day long. I think the only thing that the SU has over the Skorpion G is that it is a lower tank, so you can hide your tank a lot better or a lot easier than you can the Skorpion G. But it is a distant tank because of that gun dispersion and the aim time. Definitely play this tank from the back. You don't want to play it from the front. If you're at the front, you're just going to get focused and your hit points are going to go very, very, very quickly. So I hope this helps, guys. Definitely prefer the Skorpion G over the SU, and I would recommend that over that as well. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye.